Hi, I'm Paige, and in this video, I'm going to be comparing these two sewing machines. This machine is mine. It's the SQ9185, and this machine is my daughter's. It's the LX3817A. Throughout this video, I'll be referring to this machine as the LX and this machine as the SQ, just for short. This specific model is no longer available, but a comparable one would be the XR9550. All comparisons made to this machine would work for this one as well. The first feature that differentiates these machines is the fact that this one is mechanical and this one is computerized. So this has features programmed into it. Some of the operation is just performed through a button, whereas everything in here is going to be turning a dial or a lever. One of the features that quickly demonstrates that principle is reverse mechanism. On this one, you will press the lever down and it will make the machine go into a reverse action. With this one, you would press this button. And you can do one stitch with one press of it, or you can hold it down and stitch. The LX has 17 stitch options, and all of those options are going to be operated through this dial. Even the stitch length, so you have a straight stitch right here, but if you want to change the length of the stitch, you'll change the actual setting. And then on the SQ, to change the stitch length, you can just adjust it by the press of a button. Now you'll notice when I'm pressing these buttons, we're not really seeing how this is functioning. So let's turn the machines on. Turning on the LX, all that's going to happen is a light will turn on. When we turn on the SQ, the light turns on and this needle goes back into its original position. It's resetting. Now when we press these buttons, we're going to be changing the length of the stitch. If we wanted to change the width of a stitch, we would do these adjustments. With the LX, you would be adjusting which stitch option has the width programmed already in it. On the zigzag setting of this machine, you have setting number 5 with different variety of zigzag stitches. But to adjust this, you're choosing the density of which those zigzags are created, whether they're closer together or more spaced out. And for that setting, you'd actually have to turn this screw inside of this hole. So that's a strong mechanical feature on this versus this machine, it's a click of a button. The SQ has 130 different stitches and 55 of those are alphanumeric, which are under this tab right here. Another option that you have on the SQ is that you can change the function from stitches that are offered here on this first setting. You can go and mirror some of these decorative stitches right here if you want them to just face the other direction, or you can go into the alphanumeric setting for all of the letters and numbers and symbols up here. Each of the machines both sew 850 stitches per minute, but you can adjust the speed on the SQ. So if you're sewing something and you don't want it to go maximum speed, you can adjust this dial to where you can go the maximum here at the highest setting, or you can dial it back. When I'm having my daughter sew on my machine, I always slow down the stitches, that way she has more control and it doesn't get carried away for her. One of the features that really stands out for me, that's a personal thing that I really notice when I'm using these two machines, is the difference of when you're sewing and when you stop sewing. So when you stop on this machine, you don't know where the needle is going to stop. It could stop down in the fabric, it could stop up, and anywhere in between. With this machine, it stops it down in the fabric every time. So it'll end the stitch completely down. That way if you wanted to pivot for a corner, you can just lift up the foot, turn it, and the needle's there and you won't have anything moving around and shifting. With this, you'd have to set the needle down to turn it. But when you're ready to take it out, with the click of this button, the needle would be drawn up, or in this case, pressed down. So the needle has gone down. With the click of a button, it's drawn back up into its upmost position. I absolutely love that setting on this machine, and I've gotten completely used to it. And so if I sew in this machine, that throws me off a little bit. When threading the LX, you'll put it through the machine, thread it as normal, and when you're ready to get the thread through the eye of the needle, you'll have to manually do that. Or you can use a needle threader on the machine, but you'll have to do everything manually. The SQ has an assisted needle threader. So it's not going to completely do it for you, but it will assist you if that is something that is hard for you to do. The LX comes with 4 accessory feet included in the box. So you'll have the zigzag foot, zipper foot, the buttonhole foot, and the button sewing foot. The SQ comes with 10 accessory feet included. It has the zigzag foot, a buttonhole foot, a button sewing foot, overcasting, blind stitch, zipper foot, monogramming foot, 1/4 of an inch quilting foot, a walking foot with this guide, and a spring action quilting foot. You can see that each of these buttonhole feet are very different. This one is much bigger and it has different functionality than this one because the buttonhole feet that come with the machines reflect the functionality. The LX, it's manual and it's a 4-step process to create one button. So you have to really be in control of making that button and the size that you're going to make. With the SQ, there are 8 buttonhole settings, different shapes for different purposes, but they're 1-step buttonholes. So once you get everything set up, you press your foot down and it makes the entire buttonhole in 1 step without you having to adjust anything. So here you can see the difference. This buttonhole, the 4-step, is easier to mess up just because you have to make sure you know where to set everything. This was my first one and then second one. This buttonhole was automatic on that one and they come out just like that every time. Another function that this machine has that this one doesn't is this button, when you press it and the pedal is unplugged from the machine, you can control the stitching with this button. So you simply press it, it starts stitching. You can control the speed with this dial. And to stop, you just press the button. So it's a start and stop stitching button. And that's a really nice function if you're either temporarily or permanently not able to use your foot for the pedal to operate the machine. You're able to with your hands with the click of a button. As far as the size goes, this machine is bigger. It's a little bit deeper. It's about 1 inch wider. The height is about the same. Another piece of equipment that you get with this machine to further make it even more wide is the extension table. So you can pull this off. And in here, this is your storage container. Has really good storage capacity. As opposed to this one, the storage is just not functional. You can't store anything in here without it just falling out when you take that off. So I don't really count this as storage. The only thing that I count this functionality for is if you wanted to do something like a sleeve or something narrow around this. So here's the extension table that it comes with for quilting or any larger projects. You pop the feet out and they are height adjustable by just turning them. And it snaps right into place and you have a very nice large workspace all the way around here. I really like using this if you don't have a sewing table where the actual machine drops in. This is so handy and I absolutely love using this. I have never tested to see if this fits on here, so let's check. It does not. For certain projects, you're going to want to be able to not use the feed dogs that pull the fabric from underneath when you're stitching. So on this machine, there is a feed dog drop switch in the back. Just by switching it over, the feed dogs go down. Whereas on the LX, they do not have a lever to drop the feed dogs down and you have to use a cap. So you'll place the cap over the feed dogs and then you'll be able to sew. But it does create a little bump there, but the functionality will be okay. So you have the option. One is just a little more convenient than the other. There is a cost difference between both of these. This one retails about $100. And this one retails, or the one that is comparable to it, retails around $230. So you have a price difference for sure. This is going to cost you double plus a little bit more compared to this machine. And then it's up to you to decide if all of these extra functionalities are worth paying that extra amount for. Now that we've compared all of the ways that they are different, we can talk about some of the things that they have in common. The threading system is very similar. The bobbin winder functionality is almost identical. Both of them turn on and off with the flick of a switch. They both have a light. As far as sewing a project, you're going to be able to accomplish much of the same projects on each of these. You're just going to have a little bit of an easier time getting everything set exactly how you want on this machine, but this will still do the job. So in this brother versus brother showdown, which one of these machines is the winner? Well, it really depends on you, because you are the one that decides which one fits within your budget and your goal and your interest. So there's a whole scope. You could be unsure if sewing is going to be something that you enjoy in the long run. Or maybe you just have small mending things that you want. Maybe you want to just get a machine that gets the job done, doesn't have the bells and whistles, but it will get you from A to B. If you already have this and you really want to step up your machine with some extra functionality, some things that just make it easier to sew and a little bit more enjoyable, then maybe this is the machine for you. I think the extra money that you spend on this machine, all these functionalities are well worth it. I hope this sewing machine comparison is helpful to you. And if you're deciding to get a machine for the first time or upgrading or just curious about the differences between the two, I hope it was helpful. If there was something that really stuck out, I'd love to hear what your favorite feature was in the comments section. If you like this video and you want to see more, you can subscribe to my channel, and by clicking the bell notification next to it, it notifies you anytime that I post a video. Until next time, go get creative and pick a sewing machine that you love. Bye.